Today on Investigate TV Plus, a federal law requires hospitals post prices for procedures online, but we discovered it's not always easy to find. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. We investigate the fight to simplify the system and show you the steps to take to find a more accurate cost. Plus,
when I left, I almost skipped out of the clinic because my energy was at like 95%.
a mind-altering drug goes mainstream. Some patients struggling with mental health find comfort in this unconventional therapy.
It's a good way to make sure that you're doing everything you can the right way.
Then an app that helps bring missing children home. We run down the critical information that you can get right at your fingertips.
Excuse me.
And riding in reverse to change people's outlook on life. A cyclist in Alaska peddles a new way of thinking.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
Hospitals are required to put their prices online thanks to a 2021 federal rule, but how well they're doing depends on whom you ask.
Yeah, this move for transparency comes as a January 2023 Gallup poll shows 38% of Americans put off medical treatment out of financial anxiety.
The law is the first step in combating unknown or even inflated cost, but we discovered the price isn't necessarily a click away.
Consumer investigator Rachel DePompa speaks with experts about those concerns and what's being done to make it more transparent.
Shopping around for a new car? Easy. Same for finding the cost of a new home or a plane ticket for a trip. And it's supposed to be that way if you need the cost of a hip replacement, a CT scan, or MRI.
They want you to go to the hospital and say, oh, we got you, we're going to take care of you. They hit you with that bill. Boom. That's too much money.
Medical bills are no longer supposed to be a surprise. We're nearly 3 years into a federal rule that requires hospitals to post their prices online. So you know the cost of a procedure before you have it. But is hospital price transparency working for consumers?
Oh, I wish I had known how much this was going to cost, because I wouldn't have gotten the stitches, or I would have gone to urgent care.
Have not tried to access that, was not aware of it, but that is good to know.
Every hospital in the U.S. is required to provide clear, accessible price information online in 2 ways. They must post a comprehensive machine-readable file listing prices and services, and display a consumer-friendly version.
We tried to find the prices at 74 of the nation's largest hospitals. We were able to get to the price calculator for about 77% of those hospitals, but finding the actual cost estimates for procedures wasn't always easy. The cost estimator tools, they're not always on the home page, and often it takes several clicks of a mouse or opening several tabs just to find anything. There is a search bar at the top of most hospital websites, but just typing in something like hip replacement price often leads to no results. You have to know to type in a key phrase like hospital price transparency to get to the list of prices where you can find out the cost of your procedure. Sometimes the price calculators are buried at the bottom of the home page, and you need to add in personal information like your name, date of birth, and insurance to find the price. Sometimes sites let you search without insurance.
It would take Dog the Bounty Hunter to find out where on their website they've posted it. You've got to click here and then click there and click there and click there, and then you get there and it's written in a foreign language.
Senator John Kennedy in Louisiana wants to increase the penalties on hospitals that don't post their items or services. He wants the agency in charge of enforcing the rule, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, to publish the names of hospitals not in compliance.
Is the hospital price transparency rule as is enough right now?
No, not even close.
As of April 2023, CMS has issued more than 730 warning notices to hospitals not in compliance. It's sent 269 requests for hospitals to submit a plan to fix issues. But not many got in trouble beyond letters and requests. CMS has only issued 7 fines. 2 hospitals in Georgia, 2 in Texas, 1 each in New Hampshire, Arkansas, and Illinois. The fines totaling almost $2.3 million. CMS wouldn't do interviews, but told us in a statement it's committed to ensuring consumers have the information they need to make fully informed decisions regarding their health care. We expect hospitals to comply with hospital price transparency requirements.
So there's just a lot of noise out there about price transparency, about where to go get estimates. Frankly, I can appreciate why it can be very confusing for patients to try to navigate all of that.
Molly Smith is with the American Hospital Association, which lobbies to lawmakers on behalf of hospitals across the country. Smith says we're still in the early stages of figuring out how to make this work, but adds last year CMS found about 70% of hospitals were fully compliant with the rule.
The more familiar everybody becomes with these rules, both hospitals and patients, that they will be increasingly easier to find.
Experts suggest asking your doctor for the billing code on a procedure and calling your insurance company to try to get an accurate price. If you can't find the cost of a procedure on a website, you can also look up the contact information for the hospital's finance office and give them a call.
CMS is now updating its rule to streamline how hospitals post price data. It's also considering naming hospitals that are not complying on its website before penalties are assessed. If these changes are solidified, hospitals would have until the first part of 2024 to comply.
Still to come, an app that makes minutes count, how it guides you through the immediate steps to take if a loved one or child goes missing.
And coming up next, a veteran struggling with PTSD sought an alternative way to heal his mind.
Had seen a website about ketamine that was saying it was just, some people called it the miracle cure.
The benefits and risks of psychedelics for mental health and how it's been life-changing for some.
If you're an adult suffering from depression, you're not alone. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 21 million adults reported at least one major depressive episode in 2020.
For those struggling with their mental health, relief might come in a surprising way. The National Institutes of Health reports ketamine is now showing promising results in the treatment of mental disorders, including severe depression and post-traumatic stress disorder.
And reporter Lauren Taylor is in Omaha, where an Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran says he lived with the intense pain of war until ketamine treatments saved his life. And we want to warn you, this story does include discussions of suicide.
Patrick Dyer is a Navy veteran. Nearly 10 years of service, he calls a whirlwind of duty.
Did 8 years in the Navy, 3 tours in Iraqi territorial waters, and 1 tour in Afghanistan.
Patrick often deployed 6 months at a time, coming home for less than a year, then turning around and going right back out again.
It's just kind of what we did. Very fast-paced. We did boarding operations, multiple operations every week.
And during his last tour in Afghanistan,
we took casualties. Yeah, we lost a bomb tech, have a couple friends that have lost limbs.
In 2012, Patrick left the Navy. He came home and became a police officer in Logan, Iowa.
You started off as a police officer, you're working the night shift, so trying to sleep during the day, just kind of getting used to 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
The high-tempo lifestyle started to wear on him, and he could feel it.
We had a homicide by vehicle that I worked. We found a woman's dead body on the side of the road. And I just started recognizing, I could describe it as like my cage is just being rattled. My anxiety would be really high and I couldn't calm myself down.
High anxiety by day, terrors by night. Patrick turned to alcohol to cope and even considered giving up.
Started having really intrusive thoughts. My duty gun was started to talk to me and say, I just have these thoughts like, oh, just pick me up and put me against your head just to see how it feels like.
Patrick knew he needed help. He tried numerous medications and nothing worked. Then one day, he found hope.
I started doing my own research, into alternate treatments, and had seen a website about ketamine that was saying it was just, some people called it the miracle cure.
Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic with an array of uses depending on the dosage. It's now an FDA-approved hallucinogen being used to heal the mind. Dr. Samuel Snow is an ER doctor helping patients like Patrick at the Soma Clinic in South Omaha.
We put an IV in the arm. We hook him up to a 250 milliliter bag on an IV pole. We make sure the patient's involved, they can see how much they're getting.
Dr. Snow explains it's unclear how the ketamine works. However, studies show
people with treatment-resistant depression, with suicidal ideation, so thoughts of suicide, thoughts of self-harm, and to a lesser extent, anxiety, PTSD, are all potential beneficiaries of using ketamine in that smaller dose to help with those symptoms.
For Patrick, the journey began in 2020 with 6 simple IV doses of ketamine.
And I describe it as I went in the first time and my battery was at 5%. And when I left, I almost skipped out of the clinic. My energy was at like 95%.
Since then, the treatments have continued every 6 to 8 weeks.
I haven't had any suicidal ideation in years, and I have to attribute it to ketamine and this, the care that I get here.
Now, he's not only living life, he's even optimistic with his family by his side.
They've been with me the whole time, and they've seen me at the bottom of the, rock bottom. And to take away that worry from them, I feel proud that I can do that, and they don't have to worry about me.
A ketamine-assisted therapy session can cost anywhere from $400 to $800. It's currently not covered by insurance, but patients have to keep going back for maintenance treatments. Also, doctors at Harvard say the research isn't clear on its long-term effectiveness. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988.
Taking an in-depth look at PTSD, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs says at least 13 million Americans reported having PTSD in 2020. The same study found about 8 out of 100 women and 4 of every 100 men will have PTSD at some point. This is in part due to the traumatic events women are more likely to experience, such as sexual assault, compared to men. And veterans are more likely to have PTSD than civilians, especially veterans who have deployed to a war zone. If you or someone you know is suffering from PTSD, you can contact the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP for resources.
Still to come, inspired to change his view.
And I just decided, wonder if I can ride like this.
The cyclist who's going the distance by pedaling in reverse.
But first, the gut-wrenching feeling no parent wants to feel.
Stuff that if it was my kid, I'm not going to be thinking clearly when it happens.
The steps you can take now to protect your child from going missing, and the immediate action you should take to get them back home. Carla Rodriguez had just turned 7 years old when she disappeared on October 20th, 1999 in Las Vegas. Las Vegas Metro Police say Carla was missing from school that day and last seen in the evening by a friend in her neighborhood. Carla is one of thousands of missing children the FBI is working to bring home.
When a child is reported missing to law enforcement, federal law requires that child's name be entered into the FBI's National Crime Information Center. In 2022, there were more than 359,000 entries into that data bank, and that same year, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children assisted with nearly 28,000 missing child cases.
Law enforcement will tell you if a child disappears, every second counts. Reporter Brian Duffy is in Cleveland. He shows us the immediate steps to take if a child goes missing and the app that could help bring them home sooner.
It would be an unimaginable moment. The realization that a family member, maybe a child, is missing. What do you do first? Where do you turn? FBI Special Agent Andy Burke said the immediate first reaction should be to call 911. Don't hesitate, Burke said, and then request that the FBI be brought into the case.
Depending on the size of the department or their geographic location, we may have things that they do not have access to that we can add to the investigation.
The FBI has taken steps to that end. A guide, a free app called FBI Child ID that provides a list of guidelines in the event of any missing person.
It's stuff that if it was my kid, I'm not going to be thinking clearly when it happens. And it's a good way to make sure that you're doing everything you can the right way.
On the FBI checklist, provide law enforcement with information regarding the victim, clothes, personal items, mannerisms, social security number, pictures, DNA, and fingerprints if they are available. You should ask law enforcement to issue a BOLO, a be on the lookout, and request an immediate search that involves canines. And the FBI app makes it clear, limit access to your home until investigators collect evidence.
I think a natural parental instinct, right, is to look as hard and as frantically as you can for your child. The sooner you can get law enforcement involved, the better the chances are that we can recover the child safely and quickly.
The FBI checklist also advises you make a list of the victim's friends, phone numbers, online interests, and passwords. Your FBI contact will include access to their office of victim assistance and with it a point person in the investigation. Burke believes that can limit problems in the initial search.
I would always encourage the parents, the left behind parents, to work with law enforcement in order to make sure that what they are doing to advocate for their loved one is consistent with the investigation, with the plan of the investigation, so that we're not working against each other, we're working together.
The FBI Child ID is free and available on the Apple Store and Google Play.
The American Academy of Pediatrics also suggests that parents keep their eyes on children at all times. When choosing a school or childcare, ask about security measures in and around areas children learn and play. While hiring a babysitter, check references. Talk to children about what to do if they encounter someone they don't know. We talk, when my kids were younger especially, we always talk to them about like meeting strangers and how to act and what you can say and can't say.
I am getting this app today.
You're downloading it.
I have a young child and I feel like I'm behind and I need to make sure that all of these things are done.
See, you were informed by that story.
Informed,
all right.
Yes.
Up next, a forward-thinking idea on 4 wheels.
Just go against the odds in life, and if I can do it, anyone can do it.
The cyclist inspiring people to consider a different view on life.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.
What are you doing? You're nuts. You're insane. That's mental.
A cyclist in Alaska is challenging our perspective. Will Walker just did something many of us wouldn't even consider doing. He rode 500 miles in a race across Iowa backwards.
Wow, and it's not the first time Will has biked with his back to the road. It started about 10 years ago, and since then he hasn't looked front.
Dave Allgood is in Alaska to show us the lessons we all could learn from Will's backward travels.
Ready?
Will Walker of Alaska loves to ride his specially made BMX bike backwards. Why?
I'm biking backwards because it's easier and you sit upright and it's good for the quads. I just did the Ragbri. It's a 500-mile cycling event across Iowa.
Here he is passing forward riding people during that ride. As you can imagine, the reactions were...
People were, what are you doing? You're nuts. You're insane. That's mental.
But when they realized Will was a serious cyclist with a different point of view...
People would be inspired. They'd tell me at the top they couldn't let a backwards guy beat them, so they kept going.
Inspired. This backwards thing all started simply enough a decade ago.
Yeah, I was just sitting with my buddies. I was sitting just like this talking to them. And I just decided, wonder if I can ride like this.
And when Will went somewhere, he was riding backwards.
And then now I'm starting to do events and getting recognized all over the world for it. Excuse me.
This pack of curious forward walking ladies were a bit puzzled. As Will Walker whizzed by, head over shoulder in total control, they had questions.
How does your neck not hurt?
I use my torso to turn.
How many hours a day did you ride?
I rode from 5 to 10 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, Will thought he would share his backwards thinking ways with these women.
Look over your left shoulder. Okay. Turn your torso if you need to.
That's right. The camera, Sarah.
Okay. We're okay.
How we doing?
Good news, we didn't lose anybody. There is an irony in a man named Walker who rides backwards.
And I completed the entire thing backwards. Didn't turn around once. Didn't walk up a single hill.
But he's got a method to his about-face approach. So with a look of determination and quads of steel.
My message is, doesn't matter if you're going backwards in life, you can still go forward and accomplish great things.
So, moose. I'm sorry, that's zoom backwards. Will Walker's wheels turn just a bit different, and that's okay.
Just go against the odds in life, and if I can do it, anyone can do it.
So Will says, look where you're going, but don't forget the past. And that's...
1, 2, 3, backwards!
I'm impressed. So that's what I have to do to get legs that look like that?
Our managing editor called him Quadzilla. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, how can you do that for that long? I mean,
He's mastered it.
good luck with
We'll have
that.
to call him
Yeah,
up.
exactly. All right, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zuri.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching.
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, prescribed a painkiller, but what she got had her up all night.
She said, well, don't take no more. That's why she said, this is Adderall.
Medication mix-ups across the country.